Yo guys, what's up? Weeb here with part 1 for What If Naruto Had Ultra Instinct. So this will be going for a while. I hope you guys like this series. Let's get right into it. If you guys want to know more about the explanation, comment any questions you have down below on how Ultra Instinct works in Naruto. And I'll try to explain as best as I can without spoiling anything I have planned for going or future events that'll be going on. Anyway, let's just get right into it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. The pale silver light of the moon covers the entire landscape, as we see valleys, trees, oceans, and we see two statues, one of a man known as Madara Uchiha, and the other of Hashirama Senju. Long ago these two battled, and we see them begin to come into view. Madara, why did you abandon the village? We could have run it together. Wood style! As he uses the wood style deep forest emergence jutsu, we see that the first Hokage as he rushes towards Madara Uchiha. As Madara waves his Bansho fan, the two of them continue to battle. Many years later, we see moss growing on their statues in this place that had become to known as the Final Valley. Several miles away, we now see what would be known as the Leaf Village. There we see what would be known as the Leaf's Yellow Flash, or now the fourth Hokage. Many battles have taken place from this point to now, where the Village has taken its strong point in the Land of Fire. Minato is just about to have his first son with his wife Kushina. Nothing could be better. All this is witnessed from that of the eye of Toneri. Toneri Otsutsuki is watching from up above. On the moon, he's watching the earth below, as entertainment sort of, while he awaits his time, as he has not found a Byakugan pure enough or perfect enough for him. As he continues looking down at the world below, we then see that several months later, as the moon's light glows over the village, a red shine begins to emanate off of it, as the tailed beast bomb explodes, causing massive damage. We hear Kurama roar in anger as we see the Sharingan in his eye, him being controlled by Madara Uchiha. As we see the Kyuubi rampaging throughout the entire Leaf Village, we then see the Yellow Flash, Minato. As Minato appears, he would then use quickly his Raijin style, as he uses the Flying Raijin to remove the Kyuubi from the area, as well as the Tailed Beast Bomb to get it out of the village. Hiruzen the third Hokage, as well as the rest of the shinobi there, continue to push it back as they force it away. Minato, now being all alone, would only have him, Kushina, and their young son, Naruto. As Naruto's hair is golden blonde at this point, we then see that Minato has only one choice left. I'll have to bequeath everything to him. I believe in Naruto, Minato would say, as he sees the future. We see Naruto now from our time, as we can see him standing there in the distance with his Kyuubi chakra mode activated. This quickly flashes out of Minato's mind as quick as a vision. He turns around, seeing the Kyuubi about to finish him and Kushina off, as Kushina says the final things to her son that she always wanted to say. Eat your vegetables and be healthy. Make lots of friends, but make sure that they're good ones. And most importantly, always know that your parents, we did this for you. Suddenly the Kyuubi's claw bursts forth as it rises through Minato and Kushina's chest, killing them. In Minato's last instance, he can grasp hold of Kushina's essence as well as his own, as he imprints the last of their chakra into their son. With this final act, he then summons him, the Reaper. As the Reaper is summoned using the Uzumaki ancient jutsu, suddenly Minato feels something different. As he's about to use the Reaper jutsu, Toneri interferes. Toneri sends some of his Otsutsuki chakra into Minato, which overpowers the jutsu. What's happening? Suddenly, as the Reaper is about to be summoned, we see a glitch, a flash, as something different emerges. We see something white and silky with pale skin, along with silvery white eyes. It looks at Minato. Minato has never seen this creature before, or what it could be called. All that he could think of was sleek, slender, the epiphany of beauty and the ulterior motive of a devil. As we look up, we see that this creature has brilliant white wings, as well as hair that spirals around its entire body. As it holds its own staff, similar to the Reaper holding its blade, it then can sense what Minato wants it to do. As suddenly, it grabs the Kyuubi. It can feel its chakra being pulled from it. "Damn you, Minato," Kyuubi would say, as the Ninetales Kurama is stolen from its body, as all of its chakra is imprinted inside of Naruto. Minato quickly takes half of the chakra from the Kyuubi and implants it into himself before he goes. As the tax is about to be tasked, however, suddenly the angel would then say that the cost to summon me is greater than that of the devil. The Reaper is nothing compared to me. As she touches Minato, he can feel all of his life force draining away, as his body is completely sapped of its strength. He and Kushina's chakras implanted into Naruto. Just as he passes out, however, he sees something. For your son, he'll carry the curse of all those who summon the angel. As the angel disappears back into its ethereal form before going back to a different dimension where it had been summoned from, Toneri would snicker as he'd actually interfere in this just for fun, as he then fades back into the moon, where he decides to take a nap for a few decades to see how everything goes. Naruto's once golden hair begins to change as it becomes darker and almost more silver-like to that of the angels, more gray. As his hair begins to change, he then feels himself as he begins to cry, as the young baby Naruto doesn't know what's going on. Naruto's emotions are being suppressed, as he has been cursed with a power of an angel, the power known as Ultra Instinct. Naruto would stop crying immediately, as all of his emotions that had been inside had been suppressed by this power. Hiruzen would find the baby, covered in the blood of its parents, completely in no state at all, simply staring off into space as if it's indifferent to the world. "Here, grab the baby. We'll have to get away from this." Apparently, the fourth Hokage sacrificed himself for him. Hiruzen would think this must be Minato's son, and he wonders why he has hair like that when neither his mother or father did. He sees Naruto's eyes are silvery white as well, and as they go to grab him, suddenly he moves out of the way. All of the shinobi give it a shot as they try to grab Naruto from the basket, but not one can do so, as he seems to almost teleport as he moves away. Suddenly, Hiruzen tells them he'll do it himself, as he picks up the blanket and gently tosses it not as a threat, as it covers Naruto. He gently picks up the blanket as Naruto falls back to sleep. As he falls asleep, his hair would go back from the silver down to gold, as if though this curse has been lifted by the gift of sleep. As Naruto's asleep now, his golden hair returns for a while, and his eyes return to their normal blue color. Hiruzen would take him back with him, as he decides he'll have to raise the boy for a while to make sure he's alright. He would then help Naruto learn his languages, how to speak, as well as writing, basic stuff that he would have taught him in the original. Naruto in this version, however, as we see Naruto growing up slowly, we would then see him with a blank expression. Everything he seems indifferent to at this point. Color has lost its meaning, as the world only shines to him in gray and white. This would all change one day, as Naruto is attending the academy. "Look at that kid. Yeah, I heard my mom and dad told me not to talk to him at all. Yeah, he's weird." Naruto would hear all these things, and inside he was screaming and raging, but his body wouldn't move. It wasn't logical. He had no threat against him, and so he didn't move. He didn't do anything. As Naruto is then fighting Sasuke Uchiha, we see them have to do the unison sign. "Naruto! Naruto!" Naruto would snap back and focus. He said, "Yes, Iruka-sensei?" Iruka would then say, "You're always spacing off. Do the unison sign of Sasuke as your guys' fight's about to begin." This is when Sasuke would look at Naruto with disdain, as his eyes are filled with something that Naruto had never seen before. Something red? Naruto sees color for the first time in his life, as his mouth drops. Suddenly something changes in Naruto, as he's finally met one of the requirements in order to loosen this power. Naruto's hair turns to a darker black, mixed with gold, as he now has attained his own version of what we would know as Omen Ultra Instinct. In this form, Naruto can finally feel things. Naruto is shocked, and as Sasuke goes to attack him, he feels immense joy. As he rushes forward, about to attack Sasuke, he then realizes, I can't attack him. In Ultra Instinct Omen, Naruto's body is only able to defend and dodge. Sasuke is shocked, as Naruto's body is evading every single attack from him. What the? Sasuke is thinking, this guy. As he continues to punch and attack, Naruto is dodging every single move while staying within the barrier circle. As Iruka is shocked, he's doing flips, spins, all with ease. As he moves out of the way, Naruto is shocked. Of course I couldn't be normal. As Naruto continues fighting this, he finally is continuing to push back against Sasuke. He focuses all of his mind into just getting one hit. As he focuses, he realizes that the more he focuses on something instead of letting it all go, instead of spacing out like he usually does, the more and more he can break out of this power. Until eventually, something shatters. Naruto's hair goes back to straight blonde, with everyone gasping in surprise as he lands a flying kick on Sasuke, sending him out of bounds. Sasuke would lose this fight, as he has no chance against the power of the angel, of which Naruto has now finally freed himself of for now. Naruto would stand up, shocked that he had actually been able to do it, and Iruka would be surprised that his hair color just suddenly became blonde. Naruto would smile for the first time, and everyone would be shocked, as Naruto's eyes are filled with glimmering tears. He would attempt to do the unison sound of Sasuke, who would, in this version, be annoyed more at Naruto than Naruto running after Sasuke. Sasuke would eventually tell him that if he can beat him in a fight, they'll fight again one time, and this time he has to take him seriously. Sasuke would have a friendly relationship with Naruto, though he still has that same red in his eyes. Naruto would smile, as he then is thinking as he runs home that he can see things. He can see things. As Naruto is running home, he would see Ichiraku ramen. As he stops in, he would get a bowl to eat. As he smiles as he helps pay for it, he would then thank Mr. Ichiraku for everything he had done for him, which he couldn't do before. He just seems completely different, ecstatic. As Naruto runs home, he would train even harder for the next few years. Naruto would still have sudden instances where if he was asleep or he had lost focus, he would snap back into that gray land. It took almost everything he had and all of his focus in order to stay out of that dark place. Several years later, Naruto is now taking his examination, and his chakra control is terrible. He's considering it. He's considering if he should maybe let it go. He then remembers what it was like back then and snaps out of it, saying he'd rather fail 1,000 times than ever go back to an existence like that. As Naruto tries his best to create a clone jutsu, Kurama's chakra is interfering with him too much. He can't do anything. Damn it, Naruto would think, as he fails the graduation test. Miyuki would then tell him about this other way of passing. If you can steal the scroll of sealing from the Hokage's office, we'll give you your headband as well as allow you to become a genin. Naruto, who isn't in his Ultra Instinct power, would be thinking about this non-logically, as when he's in this form that has been gifted to him by the angel, he would then not be able to actually think illogically. He's basically more like a machine, and he basically doesn't talk or do anything. But in this normal state that he is in, he thinks this is a perfectly great idea, as he decides to go steal the scroll of sealing. Everyone is shocked when Naruto steals it, as most of his life as a child, he had always been meager and done anything he had needed to do at most. As Naruto had stolen the scroll of sealing, everyone went to go look for him, including Iruka. Naruto would be sitting there as he says, I'm going to prove to everyone that I'm not just some dull freak, and that I can do my best and become the strongest ninja too. I'm going to become the Hokage someday, in fact. Naruto would think this, as he looks through the scroll, eventually discovering the Shadow Clone Jutsu and learning it. Miyuki would eventually show up when Iruka comes and Naruto decides he's going to fight. As Miyuki decides to battle Naruto, Naruto says, not this time, as Iruka watches in awe as Naruto lets it all go. Naruto creates 4 shadow clones as he closes his eyes. As he opens them, they glow a silver, as black and silver hair mixed with his gold begins to form. Miyuki-sensei, you tricked me. Congratulations. Well, I guess it's time to take you out of this world. Suddenly, Naruto teleports, faster than Miyuki or Iruka can even see. As he's suddenly behind Miyuki, Miyuki's standing there and says, What did you... Suddenly, several thousand fists of silver hit Miyuki from the front as he's knocked out instantly, his eyes turning back white. As he falls to the ground, Naruto would close his eyes as he concentrates. Ultra Instinct would suddenly fall out of him as he phases to the ground and begins to feel something. What? Naruto would begin to feel immense pain as black surges of energy would arc across his entire body. Naruto would feel immense pain as he realizes what happened. I take damage from the shadow clones? Naruto would think this, as he has no idea about the curse that he wields. When Naruto uses Ultra Instinct on all of him and his clones, the backlash that happens when you turn off Ultra Instinct is applied to all 4 of them. Naruto, if you haven't already guessed, has been feeding off the Nine-Tails chakras every time he's been using Ultra Instinct and reverting back to it. But not even the Nine-Tails can heal Naruto at this fast-paced rate, even though he's an Uzumaki from having 4 of them in that state. Naruto would be in immense pain as Iruka asks him if he's alright. Naruto would say he's fine, as he told Iruka that he heard everything he said up to Miyuki about him, as he gives Iruka a hug. Iruka would smile as he gives Naruto the headband and says that he really earned it. Naruto would smile as he looks up and cries, telling Iruka thanks so much for everything. Naruto would eventually show up tomorrow the next day, as he makes it inside of the building and sees Sasuke, Sakura, which would be his future Team 7, as well as the rest of his class. Everyone says hi to Naruto, as they then go back to what they're doing, with Hinata watching in awe. We see a fast flashback of Hinata and Naruto when they were younger. Naruto still has white hair all the way, as he's fully in Ultra Instinct, not even able to convey his thoughts or emotions. However, something about this, as he sees this young girl being abused by these older ninja, just gets under his skin. Even through Ultra Instinct, he knows what he has to do, just as a normal person. Suddenly, a flash of light later, and Naruto's standing on the ground, as all 3 of them are on the ground, suffering in pain as they feel the fists having hit them faster than they could have seen. Naruto would hold his hand out as he then says, "Hey, are you alright?" He says this in the most dull tone that Hinata had ever heard from anyone. She then remembers what her parents had said about avoiding that boy, as he walks straight through the streets with people crowding away from him, with him not acknowledging them at all. Naruto will be screaming inside, as he just wants to tell everyone how he feels, to be acknowledged. He wants to do something, but he can't. Naruto is now back in reality, as he now can do those things, where we see the teams beginning to get associated. Team 7 will be Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, and Sakura Haruno. Sasuke would be thinking, perfect, I can get revenge for that time that he beat me so easily. Made a fool out of me with all of that dancing around in that circle he did before. I'm gonna show him that I'm a way better ninja than he ever could be. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura would then meet up with Kakashi after he finally gets there. Naruto would sigh as he says, "Kakashi-sensei, you took forever to get here." Kakashi would laugh, as he then says that he had gotten lost on the path of life, but had found his way again. As he gets in, Naruto would have played a prank on him, and he would have thought, wow, this is going to be a real handful. Kakashi would then instruct all of them to get up to the roof, as Naruto eagerly rushes up there, with Sasuke and Sakura close behind. As the 3 of them get up there, Kakashi would begin to ask them about what their likes are, their dislikes, and their close hopes and dreams. Naruto would say that his dream, as he wants to go first, would be that he really wants to master his power, for one, but he also wants to become the greatest Hokage ever, and he wants everyone in the village to respect him. Naruto would say this with a big smile, as his eyes sparkle. Sasuke would then say next that he doesn't really have any likes or dislikes, and he doesn't really have a dream either. However, he does have a goal, or it's more of an aspiration, as it's going to become true, unlike a dream. He's going to have a certain someone that he's going to kill, because he's an avenger. Sasuke would say this quite seriously, as he stares off into something that only he can see. Sakura would then say that her dream is as she looks at Sasuke, with basically no attention being paid back to her. Kakashi would sigh, as he then says that those are some pretty interesting dreams, before he then says that they're going to have a test before they become his Team 7. If they really want to get in, then they'll have to do their best. meet up with him tomorrow at the training fields. Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto would do this as they head home. Before Naruto goes to sleep that night, he stares up at the silver moon. He thinks about what he's going to have to do for this test tomorrow of Kakashi. As Naruto falls asleep, he would wake up as he runs towards the training fields. This is going to be more of an in-depth explanation, as part 1 for what if Naruto had Ultra Instinct is now over, so if you guys want to leave, go for it. But if you want to hear the explanation to why Toneri is involved with this, then here, I'll get into it. So, Toneri is from the moon, from the branch family that had stayed on the moon from Hamura's family, and now I'm going to explain more about that. I'm going to say that the Otsutsuki, which you already know, have immense chakra abilities, and we already know that the devil is a summoning jutsu that the Reaper is. So the way that I created Ultra Instinct in this universe is that Toneri's, like, he's lived on the moon for a long time. Toneri is watching the Earth before Naruto the Last, and at this point he wants to destroy humanity still. So what he did is he threw his hat in the tosser almost, as he decided to interfere with some of Earth's history or what would be going on. Of course, he didn't know that Naruto would be the person to oppose him yet, but he thought it'd be funny to give it a little shot, as he hadn't tried this before. And so we don't know what would happen if an Otsutsuki actually interfered with a Reaper, like Death Seal. So this is how I legitimize that. If you guys like what I'm doing too, with Ultra Instinct being like an emotional seal as well. And for the backlash, if you guys want to know more about that, Kurama is a lot more compelled to help Naruto, because he knows what it's like to be put under something against his will, like being sealed inside of him. And Naruto doesn't know that he's cursed by an Otsutsuki clan member. But this will be interesting, because after we finish the series and we get to Naruto the Last, that's going to be interesting. But anyway, if you have stuck around this far, thank you. Make sure to hit the like button, comment down below what you thought. Subscribe to the channel and everything. I'll probably go more into Ultra Instinct that I don't want to talk about now in Naruto, because there's some stuff that I want to add, like about Ultra Instinct Omen, what that actually is, because that's going to have to do a lot with like the Sage of Six Paths and stuff. So Ultra Instinct will be more a pretty interesting Otsutsuki ability that I'm not going to comment too much on for now. But anyway, I hope you guys like this episode. If you want more, make sure to show support. I will see you guys later. Bye.